Greetings from California, United States. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude for the opportunity to speak to you about the power of transformative education, especially on the topic of Earth management for social and ecological change, cultivating transformation from inside out. My name is Fran Faraz, and I'm a faculty member of the Institute of Brain Education. I teach environmental challenges and sustainability solutions. I'm also an associate professor of peace and global studies at Golden West College, California. The philosophical foundation of my teaching rests on three principles: that everything is interconnected and interrelated, structural change necessitates inner transformation, solutions are found through creative, persistent, and authentic engagement with the issues. I'll explain. We are all connected to each other biologically, to each other chemically, to the rest of the universe atomically. On another dimension, the t-shirts we wear, the cell phone in our pocket, and the laptop we use all link us in a vast, complex network. Each item we use comprises resources extracted from the earth, intertwined with the lives of the people who produced them and the process that distributed them. The cotton for the t-shirt might grown in India, spun in fabrics in Bangladesh, and sewn together in a factory in Vietnam. The metals in our electronics are mined from various parts of the world, often challenging conditions, and then assembled in high-tech facilities in different countries. Every step in this chain involves countless individuals and ecosystems, creating an invisible web of interdependence and highlights the global interconnectedness. This interconnectedness extends beyond mere product. It underscores the shared responsibility we have towards each other and the planet. Given this complex web of connections, it becomes evident why we must address the unprecedented levels of suffering and the sense of disconnect we are experiencing today. Many of us are eager to create meaningful change, yet we often find ourselves entangled by the very first tools and systems we aim to transform. Einstein famously said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." This highlights a crucial point. We frequently overlook our own blind spot. So exactly what are we dealing with? Why are we so disconnected? Everything is happening too fast for us to process the change. We live in a very fast-paced era. Consider this. It took 75 years for the telephone to reach 100 million users. By comparison, it took 11 years for Spotify, 10 years for Netflix, 8 years for Airbnb, 5 years for Twitter, 4.5 years for Facebook, 4 years for Dropbox, 3.5 years for WhatsApp, 2.5 years for Instagram, and 9 months for TikTok, and just 2 months for ChatGPT to reach the same milestone. This rapid pace of change often leads to a sense of disconnection from one another. As technology and innovation accelerates, we struggle to keep up, leaving little time for meaningful human relationships and interactions. The constant influx of new information and the pressure to adapt quickly can overwhelm us, making it harder to maintain deep personal connections. For instance, 90% of 18 to 29 years olds sleep with their phone by their side. This constant attachment to technology, even during our most personal and restful moments show how our devices have become substitute for human connections. The need to stay constantly connected to digital platform can overshadow our ability to engage in face-to-face interactions and building meaningful relationships. In our rush to stay current and competitive, we risk losing the very essence of what it means to be human, our ability to connect, empathize, and support each other in a meaningful way. This reliance on our technology not only affects our social lives, but also our mental and emotional well-being, continuing to a growing sense of isolation and disconnection in a fast-paced world. At the Institute of Brain Education, we understand that the fundamental change requires a transformation of our consciousness. True change depends on the inner condition of the change makers. Without this transformation, knowledge and skills can become tools of destruction. As history has shown, J. Krishnamurti often said, "The man who knows how to split atom but doesn't have love in his heart will become a monster." By applying the principles of earth management, we emphasize the importance of cultivating a deep conscious connection to our planet and to each other, ensuring that our actions are sustainable and beneficial for all. My friends over at Service Space, they have done this slide that shows how separations leads to only transactional relationships. It's all about me, me, me. However, as we move towards more relational, a new context would emerge, and we are moving towards community as we. And the more we are connected with each other, a new consciousness of us will emerge. And the more we are in us connections, the more compassionate societies will emerge. So from the culture of me, 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 to a consciousness of we, to us, and to compassion. During the past semester in our Sustainability and Earth Management class, we participated in a 21-day eco-challenge. Throughout this period, we read informational articles, watched educational videos, and took actionable steps to take responsibility for the earth, demonstrating that consciousness engagement can lead to real sustainable change. We practiced open mind, open heart, and open will. As for the third concept, that the solutions are found through creative, persistent, and authentic engagement with the issues. We recommend not running away from the issues, but actually run towards them. Our world has many, many problems, but I'm convinced that we have many, many solutions. If we can have open mind, open heart, and open will. So what are we dealing with? Heat waves, floods, droughts, wildfire, and rapidly intensifying tropical storms cause misery and mayhem, upending everyday life for millions and inflicting many billions of dollars in economic losses. The World Meteorology Organization reports confirmed that 2023 was the warmest year on record, with a global average near surface temperature at 1.45 Celsius above the pre-industrial baseline. It was the warmest 10 years period on record. Indeed, the state that I live in California, is predicting to have the warmest summer and heat waves and fires on the store for us. So there are like 5 there are key messages here that the state of global climate change is predicting hottest year again on record in 2023 and now in 2024. Records were broken for ocean heat, sea level rise, Antarctica sea ice loss, and glacier retreat. The cost of climate inaction is higher than the cost of climate action. Drought, flood, displacement of people, forced migration causes extreme cost for socio-economic development. For our world, again, we have many, many problems, but again, we will have many, many solutions. It requires transformation literacy from inside out. Transformative literacy involves cultivating the internal conditions of change makers. This requires tremendous energy, so we must educate our brain to carry this task out and train our mind to develop resiliency, adaptability, clear thoughts, and open heart. The process encompasses the head, heart, and hand. Our brain needs to be educated to understand ourselves and learn how to think, rather than merely what to think. The true purpose of education extends beyond the mere acquisition of knowledge or finding jobs. It is about fostering human growth and a commitment to service. Education should equip individuals with ability to identify problems and solve them using the principle of interdependence, recognizing our interconnectedness and the broader impact of our actions on the world around us. This approach not only enhances critical thinking, but also cultivates a more compassionate and collaborative society. So we train ourselves for global leadership. And what is global leadership? The role of the leaders in government, businesses, and civil society to guide international efforts for global benefit. We learn about the strategic vision, which means planning for long-term global challenges like climate change and economic inequity. Engaging in cross-cultural competencies, understanding the respecting cultural differences to foster international cooperation. Working through multinational organizations and coalitions to tackle global issues. We learned Earth management, which is a sustainable approach to managing the planet's resources to ensure a healthy future. The key components of that is sustainable development, balancing economic growth with environmental protection and social fairness. Resources conservation, reducing waste and using natural resources efficiently. Climate actions, adopting renewable energy, carbon sequestration, and other technologies to combat climate change. Building resilient communities, which means enhancing communities' ability to handle and recover from crises like natural disasters and economic downturns. And also, finally, the key component would be infrastructure resilient, creating infrastructure that withhold extreme weather and environmental stress, handling economic diversity, promoting varied economic activities to protect against specific downturns, and social cohesion, which would be building strong community ties and mutual support system. When we integrate all these concepts, what do we have? It's a holistic strategy combining global leadership, Earth management, and community resiliency for sustainable development. And we train ourselves to become leaders that setting policies and agendas that guide Earth management. Thinking globally but acting locally, implementing these policies at the community level to address regional need. Collaboration and innovation, to learn how to collaborate with each other. And this requires cooperation across sectors, innovative solutions, and commitment to long-term goals. And finally, public engagement, educating and involving the public in understanding their roles in this global effort. In conclusion, addressing these themes comprehensively can lead to a sustainable, equitable, and resilient future. Our task as educator is not merely to teach knowledge and skills, but also to cover values and attitudes that leads to the right action. These are the 7 fundamentals for elements for growth, which as educators, besides skills and knowledge, we need to train our students to love, to have compassion, to have responsibility, know our interdependence, equanimity, display gratitude and generosity. So our learning methodology would be about knowledge and skills that we must. But we must not only stop there. We must be educating ourselves with values and attitudes to take the right action. I believe in what Jane Goodall says, together we can, together we will, together we must save the world. Thank you. Once again, I want to thank you for inviting me to speak on the subject of Earth management for social and ecological change, cultivating transformation from inside out. I want to thank you for your invitation, and I hope to have many more conversations about it. Thank you.